Um, so I'm recording it on my computer and I'm recording it on this podcast. But to answer the question, how do you love after you've been hurt? That is all up to, the way you intertwine your emotions with your mind's eye, right? Because emotions are, I'm not going to tell you they're fake, but they're fake, right? They're fake. It's an illusion. But your emotions are valid to an extent, right? So if your emotions are getting in the way of you making logical decisions or even decisions in the first place, then that is not conducive to your actual overall mental health, right? So to be able to love still out of your hurt in a positive way, I think that is something warriors do, very strong people. I could tell you a story about me. You know, I want to say like is it 3 years ago? 3 years ago. 3 years ago, didn't have too many friends, right? I'll say 3 years ago, I went through like a mini depression, a traumatic experience, mini depression. Um, but 3 years ago, I went through some things in my life, and you know, um, it caused me to look at my life in a different angle. I was looking at it from like managerial angle, like I'm doing all these things and I'm wearing all these hats. But then I had to look at my life and look at it in the perspective of, I'm doing this out of love, not out of a daily task, right? So one of the things I felt like I had to do was, I kept having to push, when I was first starting my wellness center, and it was just me, and I felt like I was just like, oh, I gotta push. And I was really, I was working out of fear and not out of love, because I was working to the point where I was exhausted and thinking that nothing else would work if I didn't work to an extent. And that's that slave mentality. Like, I gotta work, I gotta make this happen. I gotta, or I'm worthless, right? It was like 0 to 100. Either I made it work or I didn't make it work. And I was bad if I didn't make it work, and I was good if I made it work. There is no bad or good. That's what I need y'all to understand. There's no bad, good, right? I'm thriving, I'm going forward, I'm moving forward, gradually getting there. Growth is not something that happens overnight. So I had to learn that um, growth is not from 0 to 100 real quick, like Drake said. It's from zero literally to 0.5, 0 and 3/4, a 1, a 2, a 3. Let's go back to 1, right? Because even though you grow, you also fail in your growth, right? So you can fail along the way, but that's still counted as growth. Um, so I had to learn that little lesson there. Um, so the way back to the story, but I was working through my hurt, right? I was working through my pain, I was working through my anxiety. But at the same time I was working through that, I was also creating. I created my book out of that, right? My book of affirmations for kids came out of that. I created a whole billboard out of that pain that I was going through. I created, um, created a wellness center, right? Gosh, for goodness sake. I created, business out of hurt. I was hurt. Um, I was fearful. I was in pain. I created that wellness center out of, love. But it was through my pain that I created it. So how to actually going back to the question, how to love after you've been hurt. Really, you would just go through, I don't want to say go through the motions of being hurt. I would say feel the feelings of being hurt. You got to feel everything. So if you're grieving, feel that grief. If you're upset, if you're angry, feel it. And then after you felt it, now you attack it, right? Now we look at, okay, how was I in this situation? What happened in this situation? Not how things could have been better, but who was I in that moment and how did I attract these things to me, right? Really looking internal and seeing, what in the world is up? What's up? Um, but yeah, that is what you would do if you are hurt, right? If you were hurt right um, after you were loved, right? How to love after you've been hurt. Okay. The next question of the day for this podcast: do you ever stop loving someone after they have hurt you? Uh-oh. Okay, this might take a minute. This might take several minutes. Do you ever stop loving someone after they have hurt you? Um, I would say yes and no. So do you ever stop loving someone? No, you will never stop loving that person. Why? Because love is deeply rooted. It's like roots in, you know how a tree plants its roots in the ground. Well, when you love someone, that tree is the root, right? So when you really love somebody, that is the roots taking into the ground. Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, Roots are hard to dig up. Have you ever dug up a 30-year-old tree's roots? No, because it's so into the ferment, it's so into the soil that you can't dig it up, right? So you will never stop loving that someone, right? After they have hurt you. However, you'll probably not be in love with that person anymore. You'll still love them, you'll still care for them, you know, you may even think about them sometimes, but you won't be infatuated with them anymore. So you wouldn't be, thinking about your future together, thinking about having kids with that person after they've hurt you. That'll go out the window, right? That's why the divorce rate is so high. That's why, because people throw that love out the window. They don't give second chances. They don't try to um, meet in the middle. There's no therapy. There's no nothing. After you get hurt, it's like, oh, let me go ahead and throw this relationship out the window because it's not working for me. But the thing is, and I'm just speaking on marriage, so this is just marriage, hypothetically speaking, if y'all married, you know what I'm saying? There's no me in marriage. There's no marriage, right? Marriage is marriage, union, divinity, unity, community, right? That's what marriage is. So if you're married and you're thinking about getting a divorce, um, just think about that. Think about the reason why, right? Um, think about the reasons why, right? Um, because being in a relationship, well, being married takes work. So I'm just saying hypothetically, if somebody cheats in the marriage, there's things going on in the marriage, but we haven't went to therapy. We haven't grown together. We just saying, hey, this ain't gonna work. Let's go our separate ways. But that's not how marriage works. But nobody wants to hear that, right? Because I'm the millennial age group. I am in the millennial age group, y'all. And nobody really want to talk about marriage, let alone nobody even getting married in the millennial age group. Now, y'all know I'm a nerd, so I done already looked at the research. And the research shows that millennial age, we getting married older and older and older because we don't want to fall in the same lines as our parents, as our mom, our dad, our grandparents, right? Because the divorce rates for that age group was very high. But millennial age group, um, we're getting married later in life, in our 30s, right? Or it's even projected that we'll get married in our 40s. But that's because of the trauma and the fear of, that word marriage. Um, but yeah, you never stop loving someone because that is the roots. However, you will not be in love with somebody. I do love some people. Now, I ain't get on this podcast to preach or tell y'all about my relationships with an S. um, you know, but I do have people that I love and I care about still to this day. However, I'm not in love with them. I'm not in love with them. Let's get that clear. I'm not in love, but I have love for you. I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're, you know, You were going with that whole relationship thing, but it didn't work out, and that's okay. I think it's good that we went our separate ways. I think it's good that I'm over here, with my head down focused, and you're over there with your head down focused. It never means, even when you leave a relationship, you want to leave on good terms. You don't want to leave a relationship and y'all in bad terms, y'all feuding, because you never know, you might need that person again. That person may need you again, on some friendship thing, right? Not on friends with benefits, not friends with benefits. I'm just saying friends, genuine friends. Okay, not no weekend lover. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you want to leave a relationship respectfully, just like how you entered the relationship. You want to leave it just like that. Um, but you don't have to be in love with that person, calling them every day, stalking them every day. You know what I'm saying? You just got love for them. You just like, hey, I look out for you. You look out for me. You know what I'm saying? If I see you on the street, I'm gonna say, hey, but that's it. I'm gonna keep it moving. There's no, you know, reminiscing. There's no one night stand type thing. All right. So we got that one out of the way. That was a deep one. That was a deep question. All right. How to plant your roots in the sand. Um, Again, root planting. Has anybody planted a tree before? I know I'm growing rosemary right now, y'all, and I'm ecstatic because my other rosemary died, and she was my longtime friend. Rosemary was good on my chicken, and she was good with other things that I ate, but rosemary was good. So um, I'm ecstatic to be growing rosemary, but that's besides the point. When you plant something, it takes time for its roots to develop and grow. But when those roots are stable, that means it's planted forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And it just keeps deepening, 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 deepening. Now, y'all know I'm a science teacher, right? I used to teach science. So science, plant science at that. When you grow something, it grows, it takes time to grow, but really you can't see it because it's growing under the sand. So to get grounded and rooted, you can just go in some sand. You can always go in some sand and plant your seed. Always. You know what I'm saying? So you can always plant your feet in the sand at the ocean, beach. You could buy some sand. You can get buried in the sand. But that's how you take up your roots, right? Another thing is boundaries. Y'all, boundaries is very important. To the extent to, you got to set the boundary with everybody. So you got family boundaries, but then you got, boyfriend, girlfriend boundaries. You got wife and husband boundaries. You got boundaries at your job. You got boundaries with your boss. You got boundaries in your business. You know what I'm saying? You want to set those boundaries when it comes to who you let into your gates, right? Not your gates below. I'm talking about your gates above your head, okay? Your heart. There's boundaries there because not everybody is for your heart. Not everybody is for your head, your ori, right? So there's a lot of things, that you want to not block people, not block them, but you want to be cognizant, right? Aware of things. Like, you don't tell everybody your business plan, or you just don't tell everybody that you got a business. Some people will talk down on your business and then ask for a handout, right? So don't tell everybody, A, your business, and B, your actual business. But that's a boundary. That's a boundary that you have to set as you know, a caretaker of your business and as a leader of your business. But don't get me started on business because this is not what that podcast is for. It's not for a business meeting. This is not a business meeting. But you need to set the appropriate boundaries when it comes to love, right? So if somebody hurts you once, okay, believe them, believe them. Like Maya Angelou said, believe them when they already hurt you once. Something like that. All right. So believe them when they hurt you, when they show you who they are the first time, you believe them. Now, if you choose to let them back in the second time, play, devil's advocate and see what happens. Second time they hurt you, then what you gonna do, right? So be aware of your worth, your value, and your authentic. I can never say this word. Authentic, authenticity. You know what I'm talking about. Be authentic with yourself, but be aware of that. Okay. Boundaries are good things. If you don't have boundaries, that just means you're out of control, right? You got to take back some of that power. Whenever somebody says take back your power, they mean setting your boundaries a little thicker than what you've been setting them. So if you have a parent that just, doesn't get the where you're coming from, when it comes to, your business, your personal life, you can set a boundary and that's it. Now, if they don't respect your boundary and they go around your boundary or above your boundary, and you just said it, respectfully, it wasn't nasty with your boundary. You set a boundary and you said, this is the way I live my life now. They have to respect that, right? Because you respect them, but you know, if they don't respect you and your boundary, then it's okay. You can move on. You're not stuck. You're not in quicksand. You're not no one's slave either. So you can move, maybe. You're not stationary. Get up and move, right? So that's the biggest thing that people come to me needing help with is boundary setting. Either they have a child that is aggressive with their parent, or the parent is aggressive with the child, or what I'm saying? It's just that, that friction, right? But we respect our elders over here. That's one thing that I'm, coming into now is respecting your elders. Respect your elders. But also understand that setting appropriate boundaries, you have a right to do. Um, and you have a right to be respected. You have a right to be respected, right? That's a part of that whole self-worth thing. So if you feel like you're being disrespected, then how are you being disrespectful to yourself? Because like attracts like, yin and yang, right? That balance. So if somebody's being disrespectful and rude to me, that's not to say that they are disrespectful and rude. Sometimes they are disrespectful and rude, but that goes to show me, like, where in my life am I being disrespectful and rude to myself, or to other people, and why am I attracting this type of energy in my circle? Because my circle is supposed to be made up of like, or light and light, right? Like and like attracts like and like. Iron sharpens iron. Iron don't sharpen no pin, and pins don't sharpen no iron, right? Iron sharpens iron. So whoever's in your circle should be full of light and should be just as like you, right? Similar to you, similar interests. That's what it means. So if somebody in your circle is the complete opposite and they do more negative and harm than they do light, then all you got to do is look at your boundaries. Like, hey, why am I attracting negative energy? Right? Why am I attracting the negative? Because life is about a balance. So yes, you're going to have negative people in your life. You don't just throw them out the window, all of them out the window. Now, you set boundaries with those people. You can check in on those negative people every now and then, but you ain't gonna have a whole 3-hour conversation with them, because you're gonna end up draining yourself more than, you know, investing in yourself, right? Because when you have two people that give off the same light or the same energy, that positive energy, right? When you have two people in that same category, they feed each other. They feed each other until their spirit overflows, until their, love overflows. And then they give the overflow to other people, right? They don't feel drained because they're giving that to each other, right? They're balancing each other out, right? But if you got a negative person and a negative person, well, they're draining each other and they don't have no overflow to give to anyone else. Therefore, you surround yourself with like and like people, and likes people, and you just weigh out the negatives, right? negative Nancy's, shall you say. You don't have to throw them all out the window, right? Because you still need a balance there. You just don't conversate with them as much, right? Don't hang out with them as much, right? Because that's what you're here to do, honestly, as a healer, as healers as you are. If I'm speaking to a healer out there, say, Ashe, baby. But, as healers, that's what you're supposed to be doing out here in this real world. Balancing out, the like and the like, or the lights and the lights. Okay? Because you're going to attract negative, because people love the light, right? So you're going to attract the negative. That's just in your, in the rule book. But you don't sit and, have a meal every single day with negative Nancy over there that just wants to complain. Nobody has time for that. Therefore, we just say, hey, how you doing? And keep it moving. Or we might, have a conversation and bring light to the conversation. Right? So being rooted and grounded through love. So being rooted and grounded through love just means the act of being in love with yourself, the people around you, the work that you do, who you are, right? That's what being rooted and grounded through love is. Now with love, it's just added on to it, right? So I'm going out in the real world with love, right? So how do you wake up in the morning? What's the first thing that comes out of your mouth? Is it something of love? Or is it, dang, I gotta go to work again? Because that's that negative energy, right? Or dang, I gotta rush home. I gotta rush and get ready because I'm almost late. And then I get on the freeway and I'm trying to cut everybody off because I'm late. That's that energy. That's that negative energy. So, with love, go out in the world with love. You take love with you, right? Don't try to be it. Don't be love. Love is hard to be. Because if you just be love, you're gonna get frustrated because everybody else ain't love, right? So you take it with you, right? How do you talk to yourself in the morning? How do you get dressed in the morning? How do you comb your hair in the morning? How do you talk about yourself to other people? How do you talk about yourself to yourself? How do you talk about, love in general? What is your intake on love? How do you express love? And then you take that with you, right? You don't try to be something that you already are. I ain't come on this podcast to preach today, but you don't try to be what you already are. You are love. Therefore, you be it. You already are. You don't have to be something that you are. Therefore, you take it wherever you go, and you plant little seeds along the way. Somebody having a bad day, you smile at them. You wave at them. That's love, right? You take that and you go in that. You walk in that, right? Some of the scriptures that you guys read, it says walk in love, right? Some of them read walk with love. What does that mean? Walk in love. How do we walk in love? Y'all, I didn't come on here to preach now. How do you walk in love? Literally, you just take your hand and you walk with yourself in love. You walk with your God, whoever you pray to, in love, right? Because God is love. Don't get me preaching, but God is love. Therefore, you are love. Therefore, you are loved. But the thing is, we have been conditioned to think that love is an outward thing when it's really inward. So inwardly, that's why I say, how do you talk to yourself in the morning? How do you get ready in the morning? You know what I'm saying? When you start your day in the dawn, how do you speak to yourself before the sun rises? Right? That really shows you how much you love yourself, because it's inwardly. With love is inwardly. Okay? So walking in love is inwardly. Okay. When I say go back to the first podcast, when I was like, do your work. When I mean do your work, I don't mean physically do your work. I mean inwardly do your work. And the inwardly, a lot of people don't want to do. They want to bypass that, you know, and get straight to the nitty gritty, but that's not how life works, right? So a lot of us, and I'm just saying in general, because I was like this before I got all kumbaya, before I got, my wings, chicken wing, I'm just waiting, but before I got my wings, and I'm still going on this journey. We all are on journeys. No one's perfect. Nobody can say they know everything about anything, right? Because we all going on this journey together. However, some people are ahead, some people are in the middle, and some people are behind, but that's okay because we all gonna get there, wherever there is. But we all gonna get there. But the thing is, you're walking in love, and in this day and age, no one teaches how to be in love with yourself. And that's really what this podcast is about. Being authentically true to you, right? But it's inwardly. And we try to bypass that inwardly thing and go straight towards that something that we want. So you can want a brand new car, but you haven't gave thanks to the car that you don't have for 10 years. You just want to go straight to the brand new car. But you hate your car. You wish your car would break down so you can buy a new car. Well, that don't make no sense there. You know what I'm saying? Because you always got to give thanks to what you already got so you can move forward to the next level. But you're so stuck on getting to the next level that you haven't appreciated the level that you're on. Somebody say it for the people in the back. But that's what I'm talking about. Your inward work. You have to do your inward work. But sometimes we don't like to look at our inward parts because it hurts there. So we cover it up. We might mask it with love, sex, drinking, narcotics, weed, whatever you want to call it, partying, overeating. There's a lot of addictions that we mask instead of doing the work. But there's going to be a time where you don't have time and all you got to do is the work. So might as well just do it now and not wait till it pile up at the end. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you got a final exam, but you rushing to study, right? So don't be the person that's rushing to study to pass the test. Already master the different levels that you need to be acquainting yourself on. And then at the final, you pass the exam because you done been on this journey. Took you 8 years to be on the journey. 9, 10 years, your whole life to be on the journey. And then at the end, you know what I'm saying? At the end, when you die, at the end, you pass the test. Simple. But the thing is, we don't want to do the inward work right now. And right now is the time to do the work. Therefore, that's how you walk in love. Because I'm not looking for love on the outside. I'm not seeing who loves me, who will give me the same love back. No, that's going to be tiring. And I done did it for a lot. Listen, this podcast ain't about me, but it is some way. But you know what I'm saying? I was looking. Oh man, I hope this one loves me the way I love him. Oh, I hope this person loves me the way I love them. Oh, I hope this person loves me the way I love them. Nah, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. You're never going to find the person that loves you exactly the way you want to be loved at the same time, at the same time, at the same frequency. Because it don't work like that. You got to love yourself at the same frequency that you're on, right? Same wavelength that you're on. And love yourself through it, through the pain, through the hurt, through the exhaustion, through the tired, through the stress, whatever you want to name. You got to love yourself through it. You got to go through. Only way out is through. It even says it. Throughout. Out. The only way out is through. So you got to go through to get to the inner you, to master self. And right when you master yourself, then you start attracting people that are meant to be there. but also your cup overflows. You ever heard that saying, my cup runneth over? Well, the thing about the cup running over is really your actual spiritual self running over. So when you take a cup and you just keep filling it, filling it, filling it, filling it with water, right? You could just think of a cup being filled with water. The cup overflows. And now you're giving to other people from that overflow. You're not giving to people from an empty cup. That's how y'all stay drained, right? That's how we stay drained. I'm just a messenger. That's how you stay drained. So if you keep talking to a person and you feel like, dang, why every time I call them, I get tired, I get sleepy, I get nauseous, I get sick. Why every time when I call this particular person, I get drained? Well, that's because they're not watering you. They're not pouring into your cup. They're actually drinking your cup, right? Therefore, what are you going to do? Are you going to handle them accordingly, right? Well, you got to set a boundary there. Well, I'm only going to call this person and only talk to them for like maybe 15 minutes, just asking how they do. You know, it could be your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your grandma. It could be whoever, you know? But if you feel like you're being constantly tired when you're talking to someone, well, they're draining you. They're not pouring into your cup, right? That's not to say that they're bad, they're evil, they the devil. You know what I'm saying? That's not to say that. They're just going on a journey and they're probably at a different frequency that you're on. Maybe you have to teach them something. That's it. Sorry, y'all. If y'all hear my dog, that's Biscuit. He's trying to be a dog right now. Hopefully he don't start that barking thing. But that's it. You know what I'm saying? You have to make sure, because your cup is your heart. Your cup is your heart chakra, right? So spiritually, you want people to be feeding that. Okay. The cup, if y'all know that deck, I forgot what deck that is, y'all. It's one of those tarot decks. I love that imagery because it's so true, because it's the Ace of Cups, and it has a lady's hand, right? But it has a cup right in between her hands, and it's like the cup is overflowing. And it's so true because it's like your heart chakra is that cup. So when in that scripture, when they talk about my cup runneth over, my spirit is outpouring. I'm outpouring my spirit. My spirit is overjoyed. It's exuberant. Therefore, I can give to more people because I have this exuberant spirit that just keeps overflowing. That's what it means to have your cup runneth over. And when your cup runs over, that means you got access, access spirit, access, energy to give to other people, right? You can't be negative Nancy and have an overflowing cup. It don't work like that, okay? It don't work like that over here on this side. But, your cup runneth over is really your spirit outpouring for joy. And therefore, you can supply other people with that same joy. So that's how we want to be. We want to be supplying people with your energy, your light, your joy, but from an outpouring standpoint, not from a scarcity. Like, oh my goodness, let me give to the point where I don't have anything in my cup or I can't even receive anything because I'm so dry. Right? So, all right, y'all. This concludes the podcast of being rooted and grounded through love and with love. This is episode 2 of your girl Briewiththetea, Mamme Brie, Mamme Brie. You guys can always hit me up at oceanicbrie.com for any type of spiritual readings, juju bags, shea butters, or tatrix that you need. I am going to be traveling September. I should be traveling. In November, I'm going to Largo. So what's up, Largo? What's up, Largo? So I'm excited about that. You can catch me at Spirit Fest in Largo, November 4th through 5th. I have a booth out there and I will be doing what I do best, guidance. Also, you guys can follow me at Brie with the T underscore. So that's BRIE with the T underscore. That's my Instagram, and my Facebook is Oceanic Brie. That's Oceanic Brie, BRIE. So y'all can hit me up there if you need any type of spiritual readings. If you just want to say, hey, how your day? Hey, how your day? You can hit me up there. And I will be back with episode 3. Now, what's episode 3? I can't even remember. What's it? Oh, all things that matter. Ooh, I like episode 3. I like episode 2, but I like episode 3 because I'll be talking about science. I'm going to be talking about matter. Like energy is not created nor destroyed. So y'all stay tuned because your girl on the roll with this whole consistency thing with my podcast. And I'm so happy to have y'all here. All right. Stay weird, but stay free.